Guys, thanks for keeping this channel going. It's awesome to have over 700 subscribers. Today, in this video, we're installing a range hood. This range hood, up there. Unfortunately, this kitchen's poorly designed. I have no idea who designed it, but look at where the oven is in relation to the edge of the window. There's no bloody way I'm going to be able to centre a range hood over the cooktop. So whether or not I have it centred here, have a wee bit hanging over, cut the frame a wee bit on an angle so it can fit over. Grab my carving knife and let's rip this box open. These here are your fixings that go in the wall. Hold the stainless steel surround up. These here are the stainless steel surrounds. You'll see they look white on the outside, but that there is just plastic film to protect it from getting scratched. First thing you want to do is ensure you can have a cutout area of 150mm in the space where you're going to have it going. So the plan here is to mount the range hood up on the wall here. It will be centered to where it is. So that glass curve on the range hood itself is 900mm. The gap between the edge of the oven and the edge of the bench there is 1200. So I'll go 150 in off there and 150 in off there. It means that some of the glass will overhang the window there, but you can still see through it because it's glass. So the centre of this is 450 off the edge here. 450 plus 150 is 600. So 600 in. I'm going to measure off the edge of the window frame, 242. I'm going to go 850 off the top of the oven here for the purpose of aesthetics in this kitchen. I know that manufacturers probably recommend around 700. So I'm going to measure up my 850. 850 is about here. 242 in from there. Now that there's going to be the centre of it, so it's going to sit that high on the wall there. Now we'll check for fixing in the wall. There's a stud running down here. What I've done is I've got our centre point and then I've measured it up on the wall, and that's going to be centred to the unit. The glass is going to overhang the window there. Now up high here, I want to make sure that there's enough space to do a 150mm cutout for Holesaw into the ceiling so I can get some ducting down and into the top of the unit here. So what I'm going to do for that is measure a line off this wall here to the centre of it, about 2290. And then I'm going to jump up in the ceiling. I'm going to find where the switchboard is, because it's a good reference off the top of this wall here. And then I'm going to measure off that, off the edge of that, where the top plate is, and go that distance across, and just make sure that there's enough room to do that 150mm cutout. So we're in the ceiling space now. This is obviously the switchboard location going down the wall here. And what I want to do is measure off the side of this beam here and go 2290 that way. So 2290 is about 30mm off the edge of this. So if I can go 45mm that way, we'll be right. So the shroud that goes around this is actually going to be 250mm, which means we've got 100mm to play with. The other part to be aware about is how far off the wall it's going to hang, which is 280. So I can safely go 130mm off the wall to avoid any battens in this area. So here's the measurements. I'm going to go 60mm this way off the wall, and I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5mm that way off the wall. So what I got here is my adjustable hole saw with a dust catcher. Now I'm a bit on two sides of the fence with these. First of all, they do a nice end job, and you have to wipe these down every time you work on a painted ceiling, just so they don't leave marks behind. The only problem with these is you have to over tighten the shit out of these because they end up moving on you. I'm bloody cutting a hole. It has to be a 150, you know, I set it to 154 to cut out a 150mm hole, and these things start sliding out close to 160. The initial thing I want to check with this is that when this lines up, when that lines up the edge of the wall, is my hole saw, is my 150mm hole going to still be inside this shroud or not? hit the drill, It'll be inside by roughly 30 mils. So that's good to know. So we can safely use this. Pretty much about there. So if we went 300 mil off there, I've marked out a wee pencil mark here. I'm going to put this up against the wall, and I'm going to mark on the ceiling where that is, and that's going to be my centre point for this hole saw. So I just line this up with the side of it. Line that up. It's pretty square. And that line there. So, if I'm wearing a mask, find out there is an asbestos ceiling above this, which I've just drilled through. Slap the top over it, double bag it. I'm quite positive it was an asbestos ceiling above the other ceiling. So what I'm going to do now, get a bit of Vaseline, and I'm going to rub it around the hole inside of it, and that there will contain any fragments in the future. So next thing I'm going to do is clean up the inchel fluff out of that hole, and to do that I'm going to be using the garage vac, not the house vac. So as you can see, it got measured perfectly right up against the side of that and that one. Now I can easily fit the ducting through there and get it outside. So let's go drill the outside hole. So this is a view outside the kitchen. What I don't want to do is put it anywhere along the feet here. But when I go around the side here, through there's the bathroom. Put it somewhere up here. What I want to look for is nails like that. It means there's fixing running along there. So if I slam it in here, it's going to be perfectly fine. Oh, holes out. Right, other things we'll need for this. We'll need a length of ducting. This is 6 meters, made by joining 2 3-meter lengths together with duct tape in the middle, and then an outside grill. What I'll go do now is I'll throw this in the ceiling. There's no need for me to take the camera up there. Rip this out of its packaging. Now it comes with cable ties. Suit yourself whether you want to use them or not. I always use duct tape, so I'll go and fit this one off outside. Couple of things. Number one is that you want to cut at least a 154mm hole out, even though this is 150mm diameter, just so you can fit the ducting over the outside of it, and then a bit of duct tape round or a cable tie around it. The other thing is you want to get the orientation of this right, and to do that, what you want, to say this is the side of my house here, the edge of this feet's here, what you want is the fins facing in towards the house so you can't see up into the ducting from the side of the house. So say we're having it that way, you want to look out for is this wee marker in the end here. You want that the closest to your house, because there's only one way this grill will fit into this. It will not fit like that, even though it's got the 2 clips there, and it's got 2 clips there and 2 clips there. They're the same, but these holes here won't line up with it. So make sure you got the correct orientation. So I got my screws ready out here, impact driver ready. Now what we'll do, grab the duct out. Now as I was saying before with the orientation, that little divot there is right by the edge, and I want that closest to the house. Alright, that's good. Push it up. Try and get it in there as flush as possible. Best way to get it perfectly square, measure off one side, comes out 78mm, this side comes out 85mm. 80mm off the side on each one. Now what we'll do, whack some screws up, slap the cover in, like that. So there's the outside bit done. As you can see, what I mean with the orientation is you can't actually see up the ducting unless you're looking from that view there. The other thing is this ring here, that's just dust and crap. So right guys, so I'm filming another video at the moment, installing a range hood. What I'm going to do quickly is, because I want to have the range hood isolator here, and another video is going to be of moving this oven isolator, is that I'm going to steal my power for the range hood off this circuit. So it's going to jump from behind the socket to the isolator and then go straight up and plug into the power cable up top. So before you rip it off the wall, make sure it's isolated at the switchboard. Turn the main switch off or pull the fuse or isolate the MCB that this circuit's on. Now a good way to check if there is a stud in the wall is to poke something like this catenary wire in behind there and across. I can get across at least that far, so I'm going to be fine cutting a hole here and putting my isolators there. Now a good idea for spacing them out is to use a flush box width in between them. So what I'll do is I'll outline the pencil from that, and that there is going to sit basically right where that flush box is. Now as you can see in the wall, there's a huge cavity in there, so I'm going to have no problems putting a socket in behind where the range hood's going to sit, and then dropping a cable down into the back of the switch here, and then obviously its power's going to be looped off the back of the socket. Right, the other end of the ducting's through here. What I want to do is pull about 1 metre down, and just be careful because of the asbestos. Very careful, and that there will be enough. So the next part is we want to find out where to mount this bracket on the wall. Now we've got our measurement for where the bottom of this is going to line up with. So what we want to do, slide that in there and then measure from the bottom there of the unit up to the bottom of this to get the height of it. Make sure you pull up on it so you get the right measurement. So that there is 208 mil. So we're going to mount this 208 mil from the base of the unit. We'll go and see where that is on the wall. Make sure there's fixing in behind it. We're going to mark there for 850. Now we'll go 208 mil up from that. 1058, so right where my finger is. Double check the centering on it. So 242. Throw it on there. Might get lucky. I know one of them's going to go into a stud on the right hand side. Right, unfortunately I've misplaced my small level, so I've had to crack this big guns out. Don't want to get this on the piss. That there looks pretty good to me. Circle the wee screw holes. Check if there's fixing behind them. Yep, that's into a stud. No, no fixing. And no fixing. We might have fixing here. Poke a hole between the two. These two are going to be the main supports for the thing. And then I'll put a toggle in the wall here for extra support. I think I'm going to use my big 3-inch screws in these ones. So I've put a wee etching on here, and what I'm going to do is drill this out. So I added a hole in this right there. What I did was drill out for 4mm bit and then ream it out at the front for 10mm and do the same at the back. So these two are going to hold most of the weight of the unit, and then this one here is just going to be a support. Alright, wall toggle. So I'll throw this wall toggle fixing in first. Hold it there with the long nose and start screwing it in until it starts catching. There we go. Now you take the screw right out. Now we'll actually mount the bracket. Going to use a couple of these nice sizable screws. Right, next thing, I'm going to hang the main part and see what part of the window trim here that I've got to cut out. Is that level? It's pretty level to me. Now we'll mark on the wall what we're cutting off. This bit needs to come out of the frame, so I need a multi-tool for that. Mine's out of service at the moment. What I got here is a wee coping saw. Go in from the side, and then that whole thing will just snap out. Right, we'll hang her up. That is perfectly level. Doesn't look bad at all. Got pretty close. It's a straight line on a curve, so didn't work out too bad. Might put a wee lick of paint in there. So I'm going to put a socket in, cut a hole open in the wall there for it. Sweet, so I've cut a hole here. What I'm going to do is throw a cable down and pull out that socket. Same again, it's going to be 2.5mm cable supplying the plug fitting behind it. That literally took about 20 seconds. It is such a luxury having the bloody cavity in the wall there. Alrighty, get the single vertical socket. I'm going to fit it off out here and then pull the rest of the loop out this side of the wall, just so I don't have to get right into the fiddly area there to fit this in. AEN, red and A, green and E, black and N. Always clamp down onto the copper and make sure you're not clamping the screw down onto the insulation. And then do the old pull test, make sure the cable's not coming out. So that fits in there nicely. Now what I'll do is I'll level it, and then I'll whack 4 super screws in it. 2 of them are going to be into the stud, and then on the other side just to hold it level. So just like that. Whack the cover on it. And make sure you leave the switch turned on, because it will be behind the shroud. It's not on yet because we haven't fitted the rest of the circuit off. But now what we'll do is we'll duct tape the ducting onto it and coil this cable up out of the road. So that's all hooked in now. Now the only reason I didn't put the socket here, like I said I was going to do, was because the stud runs down there. But that fits in nicely anyway. Right, so next part, throw this bracket on for the top bit. It's obviously quite a bit wider than this, so it's going to accommodate for that hole up there. Now this here has to sit as high as you can get it on the wall there. Because I don't have a reference up the top there, and it'd be a 2-person job with my shitty tape measure, I will put one fixing in this hole here and then slide it along to adjust it with my eyes. Where it is, it looks pretty well centered. I'll throw the shroud up. Now what I found I needed to use in there was a wee washer, just to hold it in right. Peel all this crap off here. So next part, I want to throw this is the one with the 2 gaps at the top to put screws in. You want to throw this on the inside of the other cover. I'm going to have to do this with 2 hands, careful not to scratch it. Bit like that. Now, take this one and put it up on top of the unit, and then we'll slide the innard up to the very top and secure it to that bracket. Now the reason I didn't throw the screw bag out yet is that there's 2 screws in it that we will need, and they are these pesky ones here. So what these ones are for are to screw through the sides, one on either side, and into the top shroud that I'm going to pull up shortly when I secure this one into the wall. Alright guys, so that's the end result. For the range hood, what I've done is put this cable through here, get rid of it, because what I'll do, I'll throw this cable straight through here, then I've only got to cut 1 core, which is the red core, to switch it. The neutrals and earths can stay in one piece. So I cut the phase, pull a bit of length on either end of the cable, leave the other 2 intact, make sure I didn't nick them. Now, I'm going to strip enough off just to twist them up. I'm not going to fold these ones over because they're going into a switch. Twist them up. What I got here is a 2-gang plate, and now for those ones there, I've got a wee mech labelled hood, and then as you've seen before, I've got the oven mech. So what I'll do is I'll have the oven one further away and the hood one closer, and clip them in the back of the fitting. Fit the hood ones off, just go one of them into C, the one from this side here from the plug socket goes into C, and then the one that goes into 1 is the one that goes up to the Rangehood socket. Screw down onto the copper, do the old pull test. Now I'll fire that back on the wall with the C clip. There's a C clip. What it is it works like a flush box. There's a flush box on that one. Slides behind the jib there, and then you push it up, and these 2 clips here clip in front of the jib. And then you screw your screws into these holes here. Bit like that. Hand and thumb length, and then cut. Strip her off. So always ensure the power's dead before you start working. As you can see, the LED's not lighting up, and it is if I put it near the oven cable, which tells me it's working fine. So what we can do, safely take these cables out the back of this one. Now what I'll do, strip them back a bit, cut the ends off and re-terminate them with these ones. So they're all twisted up nicely, guys. Loosen the connections on the back of this, and then fire them back into here. So the cables are in. Now I'll fire it back into the wall. And this is how the new setup looks. It's actually worked out pretty nice. Now what we'll do, we'll fire the Rangehood up. LEDs work. Nice. Now a good way to test that the extraction's working, get a bit of paper or paper towel, throw it up against it. If it sticks, your extractor fans are working fine. Make sure you tidy up. That's what she looks like. Alrighty, cheers for watching, guys.